as a father, I don't know personally,
Yep.
but I imagine this is an extremely important thing. As you mentioned, you were getting emotional. If you weren't able to carry your son or be there for him, like to carry him or support him, that, I imagine that would wear on you as a father. If you're not able to, play with them or whatever.
I think that's right. I think I genuinely like how it shows up in the little moments. And look, for me, the soft tissue thing, the fascia thing, like the quality of life, there's the biggest delta. Some of those are just very nice, altruistic, emotional moments. The actual quality of life of like my back not hurting me or being discomfort is like real. And it's probably, though I talk about sleeping well, like now literally sitting here, like my quality of sleep has been better the last 6 years because I'm not like adjusting to discomfort. And like not having the occasional one time a year where my back would go out has been really nice.
So why do you continue to work out if you haven't noticed any measurable differences in business? Like, why do you still do it so consistently?
Well, I don't work out for business. I work out because I believe that 70 to 90, Mike once said something about the correlation of leg strength and longevity of life. And I don't take Mike's word for it. I'm like, is this some propaganda? He's fucking with me because these Bulgarian fucking things are just the worst fucking thing in my life.
Bulgarian split squats?
These Bulgarian Bulgarian split squats make me. I did it 2 days ago, and I wanted to legitimately kill the world. They're just so hard. And now they were hard when I had to do body weight back in the day. Now this fucker's got me carrying real weights with them too. So so I looked into it, and it's really interesting. You start realizing a lot of people, if they go to a cane or wheelchair, it really fucks you up. And if you're at 90 and you can still be walking versus those alternatives, that matters. And I'm also just very practical. Modern medicine, when I look at everybody here, I'm like, look at how awesome we all have it. Everyone here has a real shot to be 100. That was not the case 30 years ago. Everybody was gonna be 85, 92. And so I don't know, very frankly, I think a lot about being 90 to 100. I think about who am I going to be at that point? How much wisdom can I always think about Garyvee today is trying to put out good into the world and has a big platform. Well, me at 90 to 100, I can be on some Yoda shit. And if I can hang for another 10 more years, I can leave more positive deposits. And if I have to do fucking Bulgarian split squats to be there, then fuck it, I'm going to do it. I really think that's literally exactly how my brain thinks about it.
Absolutely. Another one of the biggest correlators to quality of life as you age is your ability to get up off the ground.
Correct.
Because if you fall,
that's right.
A lot of elderly people are just kind of stuck there.
That's right.
So being able to get on the floor like a burpee.
And then emotional stuff like I don't know, if I live 90 to 100, does that mean I get to see my granddaughter get married versus not? I don't know. It's really funny. I think everyone will associate with this. We all grew up in a way where when you're 17, you're just not over worried about being 34. You're not worried about 34-year-old headaches. And then you get to 34 or 25 and you're like, oh fuck, here I am. Right now it's easy for me not to overthink 90, but in a blink, I'm gonna be there. And when you get there, then you do start worrying about it. And so if I have to put in the logical work, and then my friends are like, yeah, but you might, when they're just gorging on food and wine, and they're like, I'm not, and they're like, yeah, but you can get hit by a tree. I'm like, yes, you can get hit by a tree. I love when people use mathematical things that are virtually impossible, as a counterpoint. Anything you can control, if you can make it better, why wouldn't you consider it? And for me, working out is the hardest thing. To this day, almost a decade later, I do not want to do it. It does not come natural to me. It's, I have such envy for people. I'm making assumption just because you're in such great shape. I always feel for those people, it's kind of business for me. Business for me comes natural. Everything's easy. I'll always be great at it because I've always been and I always will be. But I have a lot of envy, and I don't have a lot of envy in my heart, but I have envy for people that literally love it. Can't wait to go. For me, that's not my reality, but it's so damn important. I fight for it.
Love it. What was so why hire somebody in person to travel with you and train you in person?
I was self-aware enough to know that like I would hide. Like there's this incredible story that Jordan and Mike talk about where I discovered that I could put my big toe against my bathroom counter to lower the scale weight.
And you would do that consciously?
So like, I also weigh myself every day and I take a picture and I send it to Mike and Jordan, and it's like kept me in check. It's huge for me. One day by accident, like I slipped in the bathroom or something.
Was it an accident?
It was an accident. I like slipped in the bathroom for a second, like, oh, like, you know, like kind of scary shit. Like there was some water there. It kicked the scale a little bit. I didn't really realize it. You know, like showered, went on the scale, and the scale was very close to like the bottom of my sink. And just somehow, I'm like on it, like somehow it like grazed it, and I could see that it kind of moved for a second. I'm like literally just never dawned on me. And I was like, wait a minute. And so like I pushed it a little more and I saw the scale went down. And so I started, like nothing happened. I did it the normal day, but the next day, I remember this very vividly, it's like 6 years ago, I like had a big dinner. And I believe I had a big dinner because I actually just discovered this thing on a scale. And sure enough, the next morning I was like up more than I'd like to be, and I kicked it a little. And then, so this went on for like 2 weeks, and it completely allowed me to go up like 3 actual pounds, like actually, not kind of like, you know, scale weight, and I felt it. Because at this point in my life, I've shredded. I went from like 188 to 157 to like 168, but like that 157 to 168 came with like 5 pounds of muscle. And I was like, whoa, this is different. Like you start learning, right? I'm like, oh, I can be like at this weight, but look different. I'm like, look way, you know, like it's really cool when you learn like muscle can enter your body and like reform you, and how much it hits the scale. And you just start learning when you don't know anything. For all the people who are listening right now that don't know anything yet, you'll be on this journey. So I really felt it. I was like, this sucks. Like, this doesn't feel as good. And so it's just this really funny joke we always have, because I was like, came downstairs real sad. They were both there, I think, if I recall it properly, or just one of them, and they Zoomed the other one, and I can't remember, or FaceTimed. But I was like, guys, I've lost my way. Like, it was like real tail between the leg. Like, I lost my way. I was like, they're like, what happened? I'm like, I figured this thing out, and this and that. So it's like, you know, I guess that was a very long-winded way to tell you why I hired somebody full-time. I knew that I was gonna try everything and anything to not do this. It's that bad. Like, it's that hard for me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sitting here right this second telling you how hard it is. And if you told me 9 years later, after going through this journey, that it would be this hard, I might have not believed you. I would have said, at some point it would have clicked in. It's a fight every day. It's also like, I actually want to make everyone who's listening to this, make it more selfish. Like, forget about something as ideological as integrity, which I think is such a noble thing to fight for. It's just gonna not be good. Like, there's just like a much more kind of like basic, like, let me make this very basic for you. If you're lying to yourself about anything, it will be bad. like nothing good will happen. In a relationship, in like, you know, so many kids come up to me like, Garyvee, you're gonna buy the Jets, I'm gonna buy the Broncos. Like, literally my brain every time, not to like, you know, like a lot of times I'm just like, man, I hope that kid doesn't believe that.
Or if he does, then he's serious about it.
Correct. I mean, normally when I see it, my great hope is that they're like locked in and obsessed, and for 40 years I'm gonna do it. But like in reality, 99.9% of the time, it's very obvious to me immediately that it's someone who's tricking themselves. I'm gonna be a billionaire, and I'm like, why? And this, and like, there's just like a lot. I see it a lot. I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna be a professional athlete.
Well, you know why a lot of people do that? I'm sure you know this, is we get increase in dopamine when we say we're going to do something. So a lot of people will say something like that, they get that feeling, and then the pursuit of it is, it doesn't matter anymore, because they've already felt what it feels like, and so they just keep saying these things. I'm going to ...
The danger of the short-term high in our society is a real issue. And I know exactly why people do it. People also genuinely are grounded in insecurity and believe they can trick people into believing things. This is a very big thing amongst people, in my opinion, when I'm watching people navigate. They're trying to paint a picture about themselves to others because they value others' opinions of them. And so they posture, they peacock. And I think that's a vulnerability, unfortunately, when it's not grounded in actual belief.